Discover the hidden truth. When he doesn't call, it's a touching sign of something incredible. Alex Thompson's heart hammered in his chest like a broken engine in need of repair. Behind the counter of his small engine shop in Larksville, he felt adrift. The walls, usually a comforting embrace of familiar tools and grease-stained memories, seemed to close in on him. Each ring of the phone represented a call that never came from his younger brother, Mike. The absence of that familiar voice weighed heavy, echoing in the silence like a phantom haunting the recesses of his mind. At 38, Alex was a single father, and God knew he did his best. For 16 years, everything he did revolved around Jess, his bright-eyed daughter with a dream of changing the world through her words. But as summer wore on, their connection felt strained, like a worn-out chain struggling to hold the weight of their lives. The annual fair was approaching, a spectacle of laughter and community bonding, yet the only thing Alex could hear was the painful disconnect growing between him and Jess. It broke him to see her yearning for approval, to notice the way her eyes dimmed when he deflected her questions about Mike. She had become a little journalist at heart, using time she could be spent with him to dig into the struggles of veterans. She interviewed neighbors, compassionate volunteers, and even local veterans, weaving the stories of those who had worn the uniform into a heartfelt tapestry. Each nugget of truth she uncovered fell like a stone in Alex's gut. She didn't just want to understand Mike, she wanted their family to heal, to feel whole again. "Dad, we can't ignore this," Jess finally shouted one evening, her frustration spilling over. The walls of their home, usually infused with the warmth of family laughter, grew cold. The air became thick with tension and unspoken words. Alex's skin prickled as he felt Jess's burning eyes on him. "We have to reach out to Uncle Mike. His silence doesn't mean he doesn't love us. He's hurting. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The night of the fair arrived, a brilliant burst of color strung across Larksville's streets, but for Jess, the light felt dimmed. She looked at her father, the flickering glow casting shadows that twisted across his face, a man worn by work and isolation. It was a moment of reckoning. Here, surrounded by laughter and joy, Jess knew she had to make him understand. "Dad," she implored, her voice trembling, "we need to be brave. Let us reach out to Mike. Please." Just as Alex's barriers began to crack, a phone rang. Each pair of eyes turned to him, and for a heartbeat, the noise of the fair faded into stillness. He fumbled for the phone, while Jess's heart raced in anticipation. This moment could change everything. Would he find the courage to bridge the chasm that had formed over years of silence? The air hung heavy with the promise of hope or despair, leaving everyone, especially Jess, on the edge of anticipation, yearning for answers amid the night's celebrations. Alex stared at the phone, his fingers frozen as if they were locked in place by fear. The shrill sound echoed through the night, a stark contrast to the festive atmosphere outside. Jess leaned closer, her breath hitching in her throat, her hopeful eyes locked onto her father's face. Would he answer? Could this be the moment they all had waited for? His heart raced. Memories of laughter and battles from childhood with Mike flooded his mind. Each one triggered a mixture of nostalgia and regret. Slowly, he reached out, his hand trembling as he swiped to answer. The moment felt heavy, full of potential and the weight of unspoken words. "Hello?" Alex managed, his voice barely rising above a whisper. Silence. The kind that settled in after a storm, thick and heavy. It clawed at him. Just as he was about to speak again, he heard a low, shaky breath on the other end. Alex, the voice was thin, strained, breaking like fragile glass. It was Mike. "Mike. Where have you been?" Panic surged through Alex, twisting in his stomach. "We've been worried sick." It was a moment that would define them. The fracture opened again, raw and deep. He wanted to ask about Mike's silence, the pain hidden behind the tough exterior, but instead, he found himself waiting, afraid of the answer. I didn't know how to reach out," Mike replied, his tone infused with a sadness that felt crushing. "Things aren't easy right now." The distance and hurt felt like they were spiraling up the line, each word drawing them further apart instead of closer. Jess tugged at Alex's sleeve, a quiet motivator, her eyes urging him to push through the rising tension. "Is it the same as before?" Alex asked, hesitating, weighing the implications of every syllable. "Can we help you?" "We want to be here for you, Mike." Jess leaned in closer, her heart pounding alongside her father's. She wasn't just listening, she was desperately trying to pull them all back from the edge, to weave their broken family back together. "I'm tired, Alex." "Tired of fighting," Mike confessed, his voice trembling. I don't know if I can face you both. I feel like a ghost." Every word felt like a dagger. The pang of pain was visceral. Ghosts haunted them all, each rift echoing with unspoken stories. "Please, we're here," Jess interjected, her earnestness radiating through the phone. "You don't have to be alone. We can face this together. You are still our family." For the first time, silence held a different weight. It was laced with possibility, a chance at something new. Alex exchanged a glance with Jess, whose hopeful demeanor shone like a beacon in the darkness. Mike started, but the weight of the moment was too much. "I've been just trying to survive." "Surviving's not enough," Jess said, her voice rising in fervor. "It's okay to struggle, but please, don't cut us out. Whatever you're going through, we want to help. Let us try." There was a pause, and Alex held his breath. Would Mike take that step? Join them in the light again? "I'll try," Mike finally replied, softer this time. "I can't promise anything, but I'll try." Tears welled in Jess's eyes, and just like that, a thread of hope began to weave through the darkness. Alex felt a mix of relief and newfound determination flood him. As they said their goodbyes, a spark ignited within him. The path to healing might be long and winding, but they were taking their first collective step, with the fair still bustling behind them. Jess turned to her father, a glint of inspiration in her gaze. "Dad, we should do a feature on Mike's story. Let us get it out there. It could help others in his situation." Alex nodded, the weight lifting slightly off his chest. Maybe there was more that they could do, not just for Mike, but for every family dealing with similar struggles. As they stepped back into the colorful chaos of the fair, a new chapter was unfolding, but there were still unanswered questions lingering in the air. Would Mike truly be able to rediscover himself? Would the bond of their family be strong enough to mend the wounds of the past? As the laughter of children echoed around them, Jess whispered, "Can we do this, Dad? Can we bring Uncle Mike back home?" The journey was just beginning, and Alex felt the pull of uncertainty. But he had to believe this time would be different. How much strength did they all have left? The fair hummed around them, a kaleidoscope of colors and sounds that seemed to pulse with life. Alex felt the urgency of the moment pressing against him. Jess's excitement was contagious, but so was his anxiety. Would Mike's attempt to reconnect hold? He glanced down at Jess, her little fingers curling around his hand, warm and hopeful. Perhaps together they could make a difference. "Let us find a quiet spot," he said, leading her through the crowd. The chatter and laughter faded as they stepped away from the bustling booths. A string of lights flickered above them, casting a soft glow, creating a refuge amid the chaos. "Do you think he'll really try?" Jess asked, her expression serious. "I want to believe he will," Alex replied, trying to infuse his words with conviction. "It's going to take time, but if he knows we care." He let the thought linger, unsure of how much to share. But what if he doesn't come back? What if we reach out and he just disappears again? The worry in her voice tugged at him. At her age, she deserved a clear answer, but the truth felt tangled in shadows. He's still family, Jess. But we have to be ready for whatever comes next. We can't force him to change. He squeezed her hand, hoping to instill some strength. But we can try, right? Her eyes gleamed with youthful determination. Absolutely. As they stood there, an unexpected rush of emotion hit Alex. He thought of all the family gatherings missed, the birthdays where Mike's absence left an empty chair. The laughter that once filled that space was now just a memory, but perhaps they could create new laughter. The thought of sitting around a table again, sharing stories and smiles, pulled him in. Let us do it, Jess said, breaking through his contemplation. Let us find a way to make his story known. If we show the world what he is going through, maybe it will help others too. Her enthusiasm struck him like a lightning bolt. You're right. A feature could shine a light on so many families, he agreed, the idea igniting a flicker of hope within him. But remember, we need to present it gently. We can't push Mike too hard, we have to respect where he is on his journey. Yeah, I get that. Clarity washed over her face. I just want him to feel less alone. Like he matters. He felt a swell of pride. Jess had always had an innate ability to see the beauty in vulnerability. We'll make sure he knows that, he promised. Do you want to write him a letter? Maybe pour your heart out, let him know how much we care. Can I? Really? She asked, biting her lip with excitement. Of course. I'll help you. They wandered back toward the fair, hearts lightened. They collected pens and paper from various booths, finally settling under a colorful canopy. Jess began to write, her brow furrowed in concentration. It felt purposeful, every word she crafted. In a way, it felt like therapy, an act of healing. As time slipped by, components of the fair faded into the background, the lights and laughter just a soft murmur around them. What if he doesn't respond? Jess asked, voice softer now. I can't promise anything, but know this, whether he does or not, we did what we could. That's what matters. The conviction whispered through him. As Jess wrote, her spirit lit up with every sentence. Watching her, Alex felt a renewed sense of hope. They were not just rebuilding bridges, they were crafting new canvases of connection. A soft gust of wind swept through, rustling the paper. Jess hesitated, mid-sentence, looking at her father. What if he calls again, and I'm not ready? The question hung between them, heavy and real. It forced Alex to confront his own unease. How about this? He suggested, leaning closer. What if we practice? What if we talk to each other as if we're talking to him? Jess's face brightened. Yeah. That could help. As they dove deeper into conversation, role-playing what might happen if Mike called, the shadows of uncertainty seemed to lift, but just as they were finding their rhythm, Alex's phone buzzed in his pocket, shattering the moment. His stomach flipped. Could it be Mike? With a trembling hand, he pulled the phone out, heart racing at the possibilities. When he looked at the screen, the name wasn't Mike's. It was an unknown number. Jess watched him, wide-eyed with anticipation, hopeful yet wary. Dad, who is it? She whispered, her eyes fixed on the phone. Let us find out, he said, bracing himself, uncertain of what this new twist would bring. Would it lead to healing or another setback? As he reluctantly pressed the green button to answer, a mixture of fear and hope surged through him. What if this call held a message that changed everything for all of them? Hello? Alex's voice was steady, but inside, a storm of emotions brewed. A moment of silence stretched before he heard a soft voice on the other end. Hey, is this Alex? It wasn't Mike, but the familiar tone made his heart race. It belonged to Anna, a mutual friend who had shared numerous memories with Mike and their family. "Yeah, it is. Anna, is that you?" "Yeah. I'm glad I caught you. I've been wanting to reach out. It's been a while." "Yeah, it has," he replied, remembering all the times they shared laughter and support. "How've you been?" "Busy, you know, life. But I was thinking about Mike the other day. I haven't heard from him in months. Is he doing okay?" Alex glanced at Jess, her curious eyes all ears. We're actually trying to reach out to him. Jess, my daughter, and I were just planning a little way to help him reconnect with family." "Oh really? That's wonderful." Anna's voice brightened, a spark of hope igniting in her words. "Mike needs love and support right now." "He does," Alex said, locking eyes with Jess. "But it's complicated. We're worried he might shut us out again." Anna exhaled slowly. "I understand. But I wanted to let you know I received a message from him not too long ago." He sounded low. "I think he genuinely wants to reconnect but feels trapped." His heart sank. "Trapped?" "Yeah, he's been struggling and he doesn't know how to reach out. Maybe he thinks it would be too much for the family to handle." A knot formed in his stomach. "He thinks we wouldn't want him back." "I think he is scared, Alex. Sometimes when people are in dark places, they feel like burdens. But he loves you. He just doesn't know how to take that step." Jess's fingers curled tighter around his, her little heart echoing her father's turmoil. "What can we do?" she asked, earnest and determined. "Tell him. Let him know you're all there. Remind him that he is family and worth fighting for." Anna's warmth enveloped them through the phone. "And sometimes, it's about reaching out in a way that feels safe for him. It might be a small gesture, just sending him a picture or something. It could mean the world to him." Alex felt a surge of adrenaline. "That's a good idea. We're writing him a letter. Maybe we can include some photos from the fair. Remind him of the fun times." "Yes," Jess exclaimed, her face lighting up. "We can show him how much we care." "And maybe," Anna hesitated. "Maybe I could be the bridge? If he sees that others love him too, it might make a difference." "Could you?" Alex asked, hope threading through his words. "Of course. Just send me whatever you're comfortable sharing, and I'll help. We can make it a group effort," she said with genuine enthusiasm. As they spoke, relief flowed through Alex. They weren't alone in this anymore. "Jess and I will get to work on the letter," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. "Thank you for reaching out, Anna. You have no idea how much this means. We want him to know he is not forgotten. I'll help as best as I can. Just remember, it may take time. He might need to process it all before he can respond." "I understand," Alex nodded. "We're ready for that." As they hung up, Jess squeezed her father's hand, her eyes wide with anticipation. "Do you think this will help him?" "I hope so, kiddo. I really do." With renewed purpose, they pulled out the paper and pens once more, ready to craft not just a letter but a lifeline. As the words flowed and the ideas blossomed, a comfort settled between them. But before they could finish, Alex's phone buzzed again beside him. It was another unknown number. His heart stopped. Could this be Mike? Jess leaned closer, breathless with excitement. "Who is it?" "Let us see," he said, indignation battling hope within. But as he reached for the phone, he felt a familiar pang of uncertainty. What if this call could change everything? Alex's heart raced as he stared at the phone screen. The weight of that unknown number hung heavy in the air. It felt like a ticking clock. Jess watched him, her little fingers drumming nervously on the table. "Just answer it, Dad," she urged, her voice a blend of hope and concern. He took a deep breath, steadying himself. Okay, he replied, trying to mask his own trepidation. Here goes nothing. He pressed the green button, holding the phone tentatively to his ear. Hello? A gravelly voice echoed back, and he felt his heart leap. It wasn't Mike, but the distinct rasp was all too familiar. Caleb? Alex's voice echoed in disbelief. Yeah, it's me. Is this a bad time? No, definitely not. It's great to hear from you. Though he meant every word, an underlying worry churned in him. Caleb had been Mike's best friend growing up, a cherished part of their lives, but in the past few years, his connection with the family had faded. Listen, I know this is out of nowhere, Caleb continued, a hint of hesitation draped in his tone. I've been trying to reach Mike. I haven't heard from him, but I just had a weird feeling I should call. Might he need someone? The word struck Alex like a lightning bolt. Had he also been feeling that Mike was in trouble? Yeah, we're actually working on reaching out to him. Things have been tough. He felt Jess lean closer, her little body practically shaking with the tension in the room. He's been struggling. We're writing him a letter to remind him he's not alone. Good. That's really good. I think he might be open to hearing from me, too, Caleb said, hesitating. I couldn't help but worry. He's been distant for a while now. I can help if you want. Absolutely, the more, the merrier, Alex replied, relief washing over him. But can I ask what made you call today? Caleb paused, as if gathering his thoughts. Honestly, I saw a picture of us all from back in the day, and it really hit me. The fun we had. I've missed those times. It's like I don't know, but it feels important to reconnect now, more than ever. Jess's eyes sparkled, her curiosity piqued. It's time, she whispered to Alex, and he nodded, feeling her spirit ripple through him. I agree, Alex said, his voice steadying. Mike needs that now. He just doesn't realize it yet. Can we all send him something? A batch of letters or messages? Caleb suggested, excitement tinging his voice. Yes. That's perfect. Jess chimed in, her enthusiasm breaking through the tension. Her innocence rang like a bell. We can make it special. Yeah. Maybe we can encourage him to share a memory, too, Alex added. Get him talking without any pressure. Exactly, we'll show him he isn't alone. We'll show him we care, Caleb replied, the urgency in his voice blending with the warmth of long-held friendship. As they talked through their plans, the atmosphere shifted from one of uncertainty to a shared resolve. Each word ignited a flicker of hope, the kind that felt tangible in the air. They would fight for Mike, and they would do it together. But just as Alex felt the weight of hope settling in, a thought crept back. Caleb, we need to be prepared for the possibility that Mike might be shut off from us. There was silence on the line, a heavy, contemplative pause. Yeah, I get that, Caleb replied. But we can't let that stop us. It's better to reach out than to leave him thinking no one cares. Alex felt a lump form in his throat. You're right. I just hope he knows we'll be here, no matter what. Jess squeezed her father's hand again, her tiny grip full of determination. And at that moment, Alex could feel the universe pushing them towards a breakthrough. As Caleb shared his own memories, laughter rising in the background, something shifted within Alex. But just then, his phone vibrated again. Another call, another unknown number. His breath caught. Caleb, hold on for a sec. Jess's eyes widened, mirroring his thoughts. Maybe it's him. With his heart racing, Alex answered, hoping against hope that this time, it would be a voice to steer them onto the right path. Is this Alex? A jittery voice came through, filled with desperation and vulnerability. And that was when Alex realized their efforts were about to take a turn none of them expected. Yeah, this is Alex, he replied, trying to keep his voice from trembling. Thank God. I wasn't sure who else to call, the voice on the other end stammered before taking a shaky breath. It's Mike, I mean, it's about Mike. He felt the world shift on its axis. His heart thudded loudly, drowning out everything else in the room, even Jess's quiet whimpers of nervousness. Mike? Is he okay? Alex asked urgently, visions racing through his mind, images of Mike's troubled face, the long silence, all swirling together. I don't know, I haven't seen him in a few weeks. I just left his place. The blood rushed from Alex's face. What do you mean? He's not himself, the voice continued, voice cracking slightly. I'm really worried. He didn't open the door when I knocked. I saw him through the window. He looked. The caller paused, and Alex felt the air grow heavier. He looked lost. Lost? Jess whispered, her small voice piercing the tension in the air. Yes. The caller affirmed, like he didn't even notice I was there. I think something is wrong, Alex. I really think he needs help. Alex shared a quick glance with Jess, the weight of uncertainty swirling around them like a storm. Did you manage to talk to him at all? No. I called his name, but he just stared blankly. I don't think he heard me. Another deep breath came through the phone. I can't shake the feeling that something is very wrong. Okay, we need to go see him, Alex said, urgency snapping his thoughts into action. Can you meet us there? Yeah, I'll be right there. The caller exclaimed. We'll be there in 15 minutes, Alex confirmed, finally ending the call. Jess was looking up at him, her eyes filled with a mix of fear and courage. Dad, what if he's really in trouble? Her voice barely broke above a whisper, but the tremor was unmistakable. I don't know, honey, he admitted, but the conviction in his heart quickened his pace. But standing around won't help. We have to try. Quickly, they gathered their things. Alex tried to shake off the dread that clung to his every thought. Was Mike really lost? The sudden unknowing carved out a hollow place in his chest, and he buried the fear deep within. They stepped outside, the cool air brushing against them like an invigorating wave. Jess held his hand tightly, steady in her resolve as they made their way to the car. Maybe he just needs to hear us. Maybe we can remind him that he's loved, she murmured, quiet confidence emerging in her tiny voice, and Alex gazed over at her, his heart swelling with pride. If Jess could hold on to hope, he needed to do the same. After a short drive, they pulled up to Mike's place. Darkness loomed, heavy and thick, with only a small light flickering weakly from the inside. He felt the weight of Jess's hand in his as they approached the door. Let us knock. We can't let him face this alone, Alex said, his voice firm yet filled with unease. He raised his hand and knocked, the sound echoing through the stillness of the night. Mike? It's Alex. He called out. Silence dragged out painfully, every second feeling like an eternity. Just when despair threatened to seize him, the sound of shuffling footsteps finally came. Go, Dad. Jess whispered, the urgency lighting a fire in her eyes. As the door creaked open, the moment of truth stood just beyond the threshold. Mike? Alex took a breath, filled with an unsettling mix of resolve and dread. He couldn't anticipate what they would find, but one thing was clear: the journey was just beginning, and the challenge before them held possibilities that could shift everything. As the door swung open and their eyes met Mike's, Alex realized they would have to brace themselves for whatever awaited them on the other side. Would it be redemption, or something darker hiding in the shadows? The door opened slowly, revealing Mike's disheveled form in the dim light. He looked different, as if the vibrant energy that usually surrounded him had faded into a dull shadow. His hair hung messily, eyes blinking slowly, like he was waking from a deep sleep. Alex? His voice was hoarse, barely above a whisper, and the way he struggled to focus left a pit of unease in Alex's stomach. Yeah, buddy, it's me. I called but Mike seemed lost in another world, glancing past them into the night instead of meeting Alex's eyes. Mike, we're here because we're worried about you, Alex continued, trying to bridge the chasm between them. Jess squeezed his hand harder, every ounce of her small weight urging him forward. For a moment, Mike didn't respond. A sliver of silence hung thick between them, making Alex's heart race. Jess looked up at him, wide-eyed, waiting for anything that could break the tension. Finally, Mike stepped back, allowing them to enter. They stepped over the threshold into a living room that felt like a ghost of its former self. The cluttered stacks of magazines and empty takeout containers told a story of neglect, of days slipping away unnoticed. "Sit down if you want," Mike muttered, collapsing into a worn-out couch that sagged under his weight. He barely glanced at Jess as she took a seat beside him. "Where have you been, Mike?" Alex asked, his voice steady but filled with growing concern. "We were worried sick." "Just busy," Mike mumbled, staring at a spot on the floor. "Work. Life. It gets complicated." He twisted his fingers nervously. "What kind of busy keeps you from your friends?" Alex pressed gently, his heart aching for his friend. "You didn't even reply to my texts." Mike finally looked up, his expression flickering with emotion. "I didn't want to be a burden. I thought I could handle it alone." The room felt heavy with the weight of unspoken words. Jess, sensing the tension, bravely leaned closer, her small voice breaking through. "But you're not alone, Mike. We care about you. You don't have to face this all by yourself." He met her gaze, and for a fleeting moment, the facade cracked. She could see the torment hiding just beneath the surface. "I appreciate it, I really do," he sighed, the struggle evident in his voice. "But I feel like I'm drowning and I don't know how to come back up." Alex's heart sank. He could feel the deep connection to Mike's pain, like a dark cloud hovering above. "We'll figure it out together. Just tell me what's going on. Please." Mike's lips quivered, and he took a deep breath, as if summoning a storm of emotions within him. "It's everything I've been feeling lost, and it's like I've forgotten how to reach out. It's all been too much." Alex felt the weight of those words settle in the air around them, too real and too raw. "You don't need to carry it alone, Mike. Let us in." As Mike's eyes started to shimmer with unshed tears, Jess reached out, wrapping her small hand around Mike's. It was a simple gesture, but it radiated warmth, drawing everyone a little closer together. "Just let it out," she encouraged softly, her compassion shining through in a way only she could manage, but just as Mike opened his mouth to respond, an unexpected sound shattered the moment. A sharp crash came from the back of the apartment. All three of them froze, the tension snapping like a taut wire. "What was that?" Jess gasped, panic flooding her wide eyes. Alex turned toward the noise, instinct kicking in. "Stay here," he said, moving forward, but Mike's voice stopped him. "Wait. Don't." The fear swelling in Mike's voice rattled Alex more than the noise itself. "What do you mean?" I didn't want you to see." Suddenly, the air clouded with worry and nagging dread. What was hiding in that back room? What had Mike kept from them? The answer loomed over them, thick and suffocating. And just like that, with one jarring moment, the barriers surrounding Mike shifted, revealing a deeper truth, a truth that could either shatter them or finally set him free. Alex took a deep breath, knowing they were about to cross a line that couldn't be uncrossed. "We need to face it together." Mike's eyes darted between the door to the back room and Alex, uncertainty flickering in his gaze. Only silence answered back, but they were all about to find out what was hiding, and whether it would bind them or pull them apart forever. The tension in the room was suffocating. Alex stood frozen, every muscle coiled, adrenaline pumping through his veins. Mike's eyes held a mix of fear and vulnerability that tugged at Alex's heart. "Mike, please," Alex urged, his voice a mere whisper now. Whatever it is, we can handle it together. Jess, sensing the fear radiating off Mike, moved closer to him. You don't have to be scared. We're right here, she said gently. Mike's shoulders slumped, and for a moment, it seemed he might crumble under the weight of his own silence. Then, slowly, he lifted a hand to his face, wiping away the sheen of tears that had begun to gather. Okay, he breathed out, a trembling resolve in his voice. But you can't judge me for what you see. Never, Alex promised, crossing his heart. He moved closer, holding Mike's gaze steady, hoping to anchor him in place. With a deep breath, Mike turned slightly toward the darkened hallway that led to the back room. It's in there, he managed. Please. Just be ready. Without further hesitation, Alex pushed the door open, its creak filling the stillness like a clarion call. It was dim, littered with shadows that danced around as he stepped inside. Jess followed closely behind, peeking around Alex's side, her small frame dwarfed by the weighty atmosphere. The room seemed alive with secrets. Boxes were crammed into every corner, and a layer of dust coated everything, as if it hadn't been disturbed in ages. But what had caught Alex's eye was a small table in the corner, various papers scattered across it, with some framed pictures perched haphazardly above. What is all this? He murmured, glancing back at Mike, who hovered nervously in the doorway. It's everything, Mike said, his voice shaking. Things I've been putting off, trying to bury. As Alex approached the table, he felt a chill run down his spine. He picked up a photo, his breath catching in his throat. It was a picture from years ago, the three of them laughing together at the park. They had looked so happy, so carefree. But alongside it was another image showing a stark contrast, Mike, alone in a dimly lit room, face hidden in his hands. Oh, Mike, Alex breathed, understanding dawning on him. Mike stepped in closer, the weight of his secrets clawing at his throat. I've been trying to move on from everything. I thought keeping it all here would keep me safe, but it just made it worse. Every time I look at it, I feel like I'm trapped in that moment again. Jess squeezed Mike's hand tighter, blinking back tears. You didn't have to carry this alone. You could have talked to us. I know. Mike shouted, urgency driving his frustration. But I thought everyone would just see me as weak. I couldn't deal with that. The admission hung between them like an unyielding weight. Alex's heart ached not just for Mike, but for all the moments they missed. Mike was hurting, trapped by his own perception of strength. I'm not weak, Mike said, more to himself than them. I'm scared. We're scared too, Jess replied softly, her voice steady yet full of hope. But we're here for you. Always. A flicker of light returned to Mike's eyes, as if a heavy storm cloud was beginning to part. You really want to help? More than anything, Alex said, stepping closer, the connection rekindling the warmth that had been lost for so long. The three of them stood in that dim room, shadows flickering around them, hints of the past swirling in the air. And as they began to sift through the mess of emotions and memories, Alex felt a sense of new beginnings unfolding, the weight of their shared struggle slowly dissipating. But just as Mike took a deep breath, gathering courage, the power flickered, and the lights plunged them back into darkness. Not again, Mike whispered, dread creeping back as the room was swallowed in silence. The darkness wrapped around them, thick and oppressive, each heartbeat echoing in the stillness. And as they stood there, fear creeping in, a soft sound broke the silence, a whisper that didn't belong to any of them. Help me. The plea hung in the air, stretching the limits of their understanding. Who or what was calling? They exchanged glances, panic rippling once more through the fragile bond forming between them. It was time to unravel the mystery hidden in the shadows. What lay ahead could change everything. The silence in the room felt heavy, threads of fear weaving between them. Alex's heart raced, and he could hear the hushed breaths of both Mike and Jess. The whisper echoed in his mind, sending chills down his spine. Who's there? Alex called out, trying to keep his voice steady in the darkness. His voice felt small against the suffocating shadows. A faint rustle sounded, like the brushing of fabric against something hard. "Help me," the whisper came again, clearer but still laced with desperation. Mike shivered beside him, his body tense. What if it's just my mind playing tricks? Jess remained silent, her hand still clutching Mike's. She pressed closer against him. Alex felt a swell of protective instincts surge within him. "We need to check it out," Alex said, his voice stronger than he felt. He fiddled in his pocket, pulling out his phone. The light illuminated a small circle in front of them, casting eerie shadows on the walls. "Stay close," he warned, waving the light toward the source of the sound. His pulse quickened as he stepped further into the room, illuminating the clutter. "Wait!" Mike cried. "What if it's something bad? Or someone who needs our help?" Alex shot back, his own fear barely contained. "We can't just stay here." Jess squeezed Mike's hand tighter and took a step forward, her voice barely a whisper. "We can do this together. Whatever it is, we face it as friends." As they moved deeper into the room, they found more boxes, more memories piled high as if blocking whatever lurked nearby. Mike now seemed to be fighting against something within himself, his breath shaky. "I don't know if I can handle this," he confessed, vulnerability creeping back into his tone. "It's okay to feel scared," Alex said softly, lifting the phone higher. "Just take it one step at a time." The light revealed something glinting on a shelf, an old mirror, cracked at the edges. Something about it felt unsettling. "Is it just me, or does that mirror look different?" Alex asked, unnerved. "What do you mean?" Jess joined him, her curiosity piqued. "Maybe it's just the darkness messing with my head," Alex replied, feeling increasingly uneasy. "But it's reflecting more than it should." Just then, the whisper grew louder, swirling around them, tangible and haunting. "Help me, it's like it's coming from the mirror," Jess said, stepping closer. "Do you think it could be trapped?" The notion sent tremors through Mike. "Trapped like I feel." "Maybe this is both a warning and a chance," Alex said thoughtfully. "A chance for all of us to free ourselves from whatever we're holding on to." Mike glanced back at the table where the old photographs lay strewn. "If it is trapped, who is it? What happened?" The air felt electric, charged with the gravitas of the moment. Mike, with a sudden spark of courage, stepped closer to the mirror. "What if we have to face whatever's there? What if we do it together?" Jess added, her voice filled with determination. As they gazed into the fragmented reflection, a feeling washed over them, as if the mirror itself held secrets waiting to be unlocked. Suddenly, another rush of air swept through the room, ruffling papers and sending shivers along their spines. The whisper took on a new urgency, a plea too powerful to ignore. "Please help me." Alex could see that the darkness was more than just shadows. It felt alive, pulling at their fears and hopes alike. They were teetering on the edge of the unknown. "Do we do this?" Alex asked, searching their faces. But deep down, they knew. This was their moment to confront the hidden truths, not just for themselves but for whoever was calling out from the depths of their souls, and as they linked hands, a newfound strength surged within them. Together, they said in unison, ready to face the darkness and whatever stood behind the mirror, but right as they leaned closer, the temperature dropped, and the mirror's surface rippled ominously, revealing a glimmer of something or someone trapped inside. "Mike!" Jess gasped, "What if that's you from the past?" The air thickened with tension, every heartbeat drumming the urgency of their decision. What would they find waiting for them in the reflection? As they leaned in closer, the mirror shimmered, distorting their reflections into something almost unrecognizable. The surface pulsed like a heartbeat, and Alex held his breath, a whirlwind of emotions crashing around him. There outside the glass was a face he recognized. It was Mike, but his eyes were shattered and afraid, a reflection of the pain he had been carrying all along. "Help me!" The voice cracked again, echoing in the room, filling the silence with desperation. "Mike!" It's us. Jess shouted, her voice breaking through the spectral barrier. We're here. We can help you. The image flickered, and the distant echo morphed into sobs. I don't know how, the reflection whispered back, sorrow wrapping around each word like a stranglehold. Mike, listen. Alex said, determination flooding his chest. This isn't just you, it's all of us. We've all been lost in our own ways. But we can find our way back together. Mike, their real Mike, shifted uneasily by the door, watching the mirror's eerie dance with wide eyes. Why did I let it get this bad? He muttered to himself, the weight of his regret hanging heavy in the air. You need to break free from what's holding you down. Jess's brave voice cut through. You don't have to do this alone. Look at me. She stepped forward, fingers stretching towards the surface. This mirror isn't just a reflection, it's your past. Let it know you want to move forward. The room vibrated with a sudden rumble, and Mike's reflection wavered, flickering like a candle in the wind. Suddenly, the shadowy figure responded, tears streaming down its haunted face. I don't know how. I'm scared to remember. Remembering is part of healing. We're strong enough to carry it together. Alex shouted, urging Mike closer to the mirror. Mike's face reflected confusion and longing, battling against years of self-imposed isolation. But Jess stepped up beside him, her tiny spirit bursting with earnestness. Uncle Mike, feel it. You can unleash it. We'll catch you. She said, determination radiating from her. Together, we can face anything. And in that instant, something shifted in Mike. His muscles relaxed, the tension easing from his shoulders. You're right, I've been so afraid of facing it all. I thought I would drown if I tried. Instead, you'll swim back to us, Alex replied. You don't need to carry the weight by yourself anymore. Mike took a deep breath, finally stepping toward the shimmering surface. Every second hung suspended in time as their shared courage enveloped the air in the room. As Mike touched the mirror, it rippled violently, and the face inside met his with longing. Let go of the fear, Mike. Jess urged, her voice firm yet uplifting. You're not alone. The air crackled with energy, and the haunting cry erupted one last time. Help me then. In one sweeping motion, Mike thrust his palm against the mirror. Light swirled, and suddenly, the darkness began to dissolve, showering the room in a cascade of bright luminescence. In that breathtaking moment, the flickering image of the lost Mike reached across the barrier, and, like a shooting star, he transformed into vibrant rays of hope. A rush of warmth coursed through the room, illuminating their faces, drowning out all shadows. Tears streamed down Jess's cheeks, but this time, they were tears of joy. We did it! She exclaimed, her voice filled with triumph. As the mirror returned to its reflective form, the darkness receded, and in its place stood their Mike back in reality, whole again. Gasping for breath as he staggered, Mike's eyes sparkled with renewed life, emotions flooding forth in rich waves. Thank you, both of you. I thought I could never return, he managed, raw emotion spilling from him. But I see now love can cut through the darkest places. I was just too scared to reach for it. Jess leaped forward, wrapping her arms around him. You're home now, Uncle Mike, she said, her small frame shaking with powerful emotion. We've been waiting for you. As have I, Mike replied, his voice thick with gratitude. He joined her embrace, holding on tightly, feeling the warmth of their connection dissolve the weight he had carried for so long. Alex stepped forward, pulling them both into a radiant hug, a family reunited. Tears flowed freely now, but they weren't just tears of sorrow, they were tears of liberation, the pain of the past transforming into hope for the future. I thought I could face it alone, Mike murmured, breaking away slightly to meet Alex's gaze, sincerity poured into every word. But I realize now that true strength lies in vulnerability. A harmonious silence enveloped them, the night humming with life beyond the walls. The weight of years lost began to lift, a promise of healing unfurling in the atmosphere. As quiet laughter began to fill the room, the door creaked open wider, letting in the fresh air from outside, signaling new beginnings. "Let us keep moving forward together," Alex said, feeling a weight lifted off his shoulders as he looked into Mike's eyes with unwavering belief. "We'll build new memories, real ones." With newfound determination, Jess interjected, "And we'll help others too. We'll share your story, Uncle Mike. It will show everyone that they aren't alone." "Absolutely," Mike agreed, inspired. "From this moment on we're a family, and we're going to confront every shadow, together." They all smiled, hearts resonating with a strength forged in vulnerability. In that moment, Jess realized they weren't just bringing Mike back home, they were crafting a new future, one filled with courage, connection, and a love powerful enough to overcome anything. As they stepped into the light of the fair, laughter echoed against the backdrop of celebration. The colors of life pulsed around them, alive and vibrant, a reflection of their journey toward healing. This was more than a mere reunion, it was a new beginning, and as the clock struck midnight, a soft breeze danced across Larksville, carrying whispers of hope into the world. "Where are we off to next?" Jess smiled eagerly at her father and uncle, a bright spark in her eyes signaling that the adventure was just getting started. "We face it all," Mike declared. "Together." The laughter and joy from the fair echoed in the background as they walked on, hand in hand, ready to embrace the future stronger than ever before. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending, I want to hear from you. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Remember, this is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.